So here it is, YouTube. I'm Roadhawk Wilson, welcoming you to the Reverie. And if you go to this channel, if you watch the videos, you have seen our discussions on depression, on hyperthyroidism, a wide variety of topics. And yet there's something I really want to discuss, which is American marketing affecting people with disabilities? And this is all in all not going to be a one-part discussion, because ultimately I'm going to try to make it so, but this is to open up something that I think, needs to be discussed, which in healthcare we have a very resiliency or wide variety of philosophies that are being implemented and are kind of sweeping overall. But in American marketing in particular, a current trend that is occurring is taking the story of a hero or someone worth admiring and ultimately twisting that to advertise beer or advertise a chic razor. And if you question that, see or Gillette actually is responsible for this. Watch the Gillette commercial where they discuss a firefighter who's very congenial, very happy, very, very down to earth seeming, but has sensitive skin and doesn't want to get, ingrown hairs, and they, have a nice little message that says, firefighters have to shave every day in order to stay safe, to do all these things. And yet, in this discussion, and I don't think Gillette is the biggest perpetrator of this. In fact, there's a beer out there that I don't want to name because I don't want to pick a fight, but they take the Hispanic community and heroes within the Hispanic community and then tell their story, and at the end of the last 5 or 6 seconds within that trailer commercial, they advertise beer in a situation where a lot of the people they're discussing probably have known someone who have suffered from alcoholism, who have known detriments. They essentially take the elements of the hero and disregard everything about that to sell a product. And in the US, we are very guilty of this, because if we can present someone who is admirable and does service for society, then we want to emulate them and carry out this discussion and buy the product. However, by buying the product, all we're doing is putting money into corporate pockets. And yet, at the same time, I think that's the driving force, is we want to have some emulation of a product that is willing to work with people who are upstanding members of society. However, the firefighter in that Gillette commercial, I know nothing about the man. I know his shaving preferences, but I don't know how many people he saved, how long he's served as a firefighter, if he's risked his life at all, if he's a firefighter, so you automatically assume that he has risked his life in a burning building to save lives. However, then there's the aspect of, is he actually a firefighter? Because they don't claim that whatsoever in the discussion. They don't say that this person is a firefighter, because then you get into the legality issues. If someone goes, well, I know this guy, he's not a firefighter, he's a guy who works at a bar, and as such you guys are lying. And I say in America because we're in this current trend of not just manipulating heroic or admirable figures, but we're also in this very strong trend of, and I say manipulating because when you take the story of someone great and then tie it nowhere near your product in any applicable storytelling element whatsoever to sell a product, that is manipulation. You are basically stirring up an ethos or a pathos in a person and causing them to want to go out and celebrate what they've seen. However, in this discussion, I want to say, I'm not an expert. I'm not someone who studies marketing. I am a creative director, a diligent studier of pop culture, a very analytical person. But is American marketing destroying what we see? And I think to a degree it's harmless, because you're carrying out to sell a product, which is capitalism, which is an American ideal and something that many people are in favor of in the United States. However, when you start to implement things with heroes who have gone to war, heroes who come back, who have fought, who have lost a limb, and you do that to push alcohol, there is a boundary that is crossed. And the reason I say that boundary is crossed is not only you're taking someone who has literally risked their lives and saying, we're going to tell their story to sell something that many people suffer from an addiction to, but we're going to take the story of someone who has not just fought and risked life and limb literally for freedom, for protection, for some ideal, but you are ultimately arguing that you can compare alcohol to that ideal or that risk, is wrong in my opinion. And I don't think every country is free of this. In fact, many aren't. However, when you see something, when you hear the story of someone who compels you to want to be a better person, and your immediate reaction is, I want a beer, not, I'm going to go out and do that. And I'm not shaming anyone. I'm not saying anyone watching this video is being a bad person for thinking that. That's what marketing is. It's to get you to want to do that. When you tell the story of a hero, it should be to inspire people to do better lives. And I drink beer on a regular basis myself. I very much wholeheartedly believe that it can be a nice addition to your day. And you can say that's a contradiction. That's all of these things. But there's a difference between people who push it for the sale of profit and me being honest for the sake of my argument. And you may say, why? And I say, because I'm not saying you have to go out and buy beer. I'm not pushing you to. In fact, I think people who live in sobriety are living a very healthy, valid lifestyle. That is their choice. I'm not trying to coerce you to buy a product. However, ultimately, is American marketing causing a problem? And I would have to say yes, because when we are willing to adhere to rules and bylaws that allow us to manipulate American heroes or world heroes or cultural heroes in order to sell a product, we are giving up a soul or an essence of what makes those stories so great. We are giving up the promise of them inspiring someone to do something, to pursue their goals. American marketing right now is targeting people who are wholeheartedly disabled. And I don't like the word disability, but that is the common word most people use. Who are limited, who have been through great trials and are using them to argue an argument that should not be, in my opinion. With that, I'm Roadhawk Wilson, saying if I made any sense to you, if I inspired you, if I caused any idea, I am here for discussion. I would love to talk to you about what we have discussed. But with that, I will see you in another video.